Hello, everyone, all my friends and fellow bibliophiles and zombie lovers out there. Welcome to Cat's Novel Adventures. We are here yet again for another live chat, and I am being joined by the incredibly fantastic Katrina. Woo!
Hi, everyone.
So tonight we are going to just be talking zombies. I have a couple of things I want to talk to y'all about, and then Katrina and I are just going to chat about the things we like or dislike or whatever comes up in conversation. And at towards the end of the conversation, I will pick our two winners for the zombie survival guide. So, Katrina, why don't you tell us a little bit about your channel for anyone who is joining us that might not know you? I can't imagine anybody not knowing you, but just in case that one person out there doesn't.
So my channel name is Katrina Brown, and I read mostly horror. I also read some thrillers and some sci-fi sometimes. I'm actually reading a bunch of paperbacks from hell this year, so that has been a trip, and it's been really fun. And I do vlogs, book hauls, book on hauls. I feel like I do typical booktube stuff, and I am co-hosting uh, Escape the Readathon, which was created by Lexi from Books with Lexi, and I am a team leader for the Partiers. And yeah, I've just been reading so much this month. I think I'm almost at 30 books.
Oh
So
wow, that is a lot.
yeah,
Very good. And the month's not even over yet, so you might be able to squeeze in another 5 or 10.
I know. I'm like, I feel myself starting to burn out and I don't want to, but I'm like, I have to do it. I'm a team leader for the
Right,
partiers.
right. Well, I have to just mention, if you haven't seen it, Lexi and all the hosts, pretty much all of y'all, right? All created a video. They did like a secret Santa slash secret Satan. But anyway, basically, they had someone pick their name, and based on the host wish list, they were given a title or a couple of titles in some cases, and you got to choose, and then you had to try to guess who the person was that picked. So if you haven't seen any of those videos, I would highly recommend it. It was a big, huge event on Sunday. They just like rolled out one after the other. I just thought that was a lot of fun. It was really cool. It kind of reminded us of when we, launched all the old school April videos on the same day. We didn't premiere them all, but one behind the other. But it was like that big explosion, for
Yeah.
that event. So I thought they came out really good. I loved them, and it was just funny how most people didn't guess who
Yeah.
who got them.
I was wrong. I was wrong with my guess.
I totally thought it was Kelsey for you. I'm just gonna say I
Yeah.
totally thought it was because I'm
No.
like, and then I almost thought, did they plan it? Did they plan it secretly, to throw you off?
I was so like I assumed it was Kelsey immediately when I saw the book recommendations. I was like, this is Kelsey. It has to be.
Well, let's see who's joining us in the chat. So we have Helco. Hello, Helco, my kindred spirit. We have Alicia. Hi, guys. I just started the cipher, which isn't zombie thing themed, but still, that's okay. I'm actually reading a middle grade book that isn't zombie related because I'm reading it for a book club. Hey, Linda. How are you? Glad you're hanging out with us. Hey, Vanessa. Glad to see you. Hey, Amy. So happy to see everybody. Hello. Finally started Zombies, A Cultural History, way behind on my zombie reading. I was doing really well with my zombie reading, but within these last couple of days, I've gotten a little bit behind, and it's because of one of the books that I'm reading. Not because it's bad, it's just the type of book it is that it's slowing me down. I was like on a really good roll. So I'm not sure if I'm going to get to everything on my TBR, but I'm going to try. That's all I can do. I loved all the premiere videos. Yes, I agree, Alicia. They were really well done. They were a lot of fun. It just like built up. I didn't get to see all of them because some of the hosts that I'm not familiar with, I didn't know who they were. So, but I can always go back and check them out. That's what I think is pretty cool too. You can always go back and watch.
Yeah.
But it
Yeah.
looks like y'all been having a lot of fun, and that's what's important.
Yeah, it was
Although
so
you
funny because I was at work during all of that too, so I was just like on it in the chat all the time. But one of my coworkers was like, "Are you like live right now?" And I was like, "No." I was like, "I mean, technically, but no."
Yeah, I mean, could you imagine? Like, what are you doing? You're supposed to be doing XYZ. But yeah, I think it's a cool concept, and you're probably going to want a vacation come June.
But then there's the slasher readathon, so
I know it's like every month is filled with something, and you want to participate because you want to support everybody, and because they're so fun. I think it's all fun. It's just so much. It's been a great year so far for me with all the different shenanigans we've been up to. So we're gonna see what is everybody reading and watching. If you're reading something or watching something zombie related. Katrina, are you reading anything currently or watching anything currently
um,
or
not currently, but this month I did read. I have a list in front of me. It hasn't been too many, but I read Warm Bodies.
oh cool.
I listened to that one and I enjoyed it. It was like a really quick listen. I think it was like 8-hour audio, which I
Mhm.
listened faster, so it went by very quickly. And it felt like it was the movie mostly. Like I think there was some stuff like I don't think he got married in the movie. Like the zombies were doing marriages and stuff and like adopting other zombie children and stuff. It was like really funny. I don't think that was in the movie, but it felt like it stuck with it for the
Mhm.
most part. And I think I'm leaning towards like a 3 star. Like it was just fun and easy. And then Chainsaw Man, the manga, the first one deals with like the zombie
Oh.
situation a little bit, and that one I was like, oh, this will count for zombie.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out because I'm almost positive my Andrew has that series, at least the
Oh,
first beginning part. So since I didn't get I Am a Hero, they didn't have a Books a Million, then I kept forgetting to order it. Maybe I could check out that one before the month is out because those are usually pretty fast reads, right?
yeah, I read 3 of them this month, and they're really funny and gross, and
Yeah,
they're
I'm gonna have to check that out. Chainsaw Man.
you're rooting for the main character. He's like 16, and has he's become a chainsaw devil or whatever. Like it's
Right.
great. And then I did listen to World War Z as well,
Okay. So
and
what did you think of that? Because some people are really kind of shocked about World War Z, the book, especially if they're familiar with the movie. They're like a little surprised because it's totally different.
yeah, I liked the beginning of it. I did. I was like, oh, this is interesting because it's like different narrators. It was full cast, so like the interviewing everybody around the world or like where they were when it happened, I guess. And then towards like halfway through, I was like, are we still doing this? Like, it's just still happening. I thought for a second it was just going to switch to like a present day
Hmm.
situation, and it never did. So I was like, okay, I'm bored now. But I finished it for
Yeah.
the sake of the readathon.
Oh,
But
very good.
I think I'm leaning towards like a 2 for that one, just because it was like
Yeah.
it felt like work towards the end. I was like,
Yeah,
okay.
I enjoyed it, but I always try to tell people it's a little more dry than like if you compare it to the movie kind of thing. Do you think you'll continue with the Warm Body series?
I think so. I think they're like fun and like easy, and I didn't mind the romance in it either. I was like, usually with romance, I'm just like,
Yeah,
uh,
that's the only thing I was a little concerned about. So it's good to hear that you say that because if it does not have a lot of heavy romance, or the romance is like, in the background kind of thing, and it doesn't really mess up the story. Sort of like it's the subplot, not the main plot kind of thing.
Exactly. That's
Then
when
I
it
think,
kind of, yeah, annoys me, or I'm just like, can we get on with this? It wasn't, it didn't feel like that in Warm Bodies.
okay, well,
So,
that's good to know because I have it on my list because Lauren over at Happy Haun's Library was finishing the series. I think she had the last one to finish and she was going to do it for Zombiethon. So I thought that was pretty cool. Any movies? Have you watched any zombie movies?
yes, I think I've watched quite a few this month. I watched Return to the Living Dead.
Okay.
That's on Tubi. I just love that movie. I think it's so funny. It's like the really gooey guy in it. I'm just like, great. And it's really funny with the paramedics too. They're like, well, technically you guys are dead, but you're not dead, so we don't know and we're gonna go. Like, I thought that was like really funny. It's hilarious. And then the zombies getting the paramedics after they leave, and they pick up the radio and they're like, send more paramedics. And it's like, how did they know it was paramedics? Like, they're really smart in the movie. It was just
Well, we
hilarious.
talked about that. Amy and I talked about that on the first live chat because the article we talked about that night was Do Zombies Feel Pain? And one of the movies they brought up was The Return of the Living Dead because they have the head.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so that was what they were referencing. And, apparently he could feel pain or whatever, the head. So we just thought that was kind of interesting because you don't think about it, considering if it's just a head, it's not even attached to anything. So.
Yes. Yeah, you could tell they were just like having so much fun, like filming that, and like the actors and stuff, like all seem to have great chemistry together. It's just like
Uh-huh.
a really fun, it's like a party movie. It's like you put it on and like hang out with people and watch
Right.
it.
Right.
Um, and then, of course, I watched Zombie by Lucio Fulci, and I already talked about this on Kelsey's channel on Saturday, but I was watching it on At the Drive-In on Shutter with Joe
Uh-huh.
Bob Briggs, where he just talks and talks and talks about everything about the movie, and he talked about the stuntman that does the stunt with the shark, with the
Oh.
live shark and the zombie, and he said that stuntman was friends with that shark prior and after that shooting. Like, he already knew that shark, and I thought that was so funny. I was like, okay, I'm adding this to my zombie knowledge.
Well, that is pretty cool. I mean, if you think about it.
Yeah, he's like, they were hanging out afterwards. They were cool.
At least he didn't get eaten.
Yeah, he didn't. And he did drug him with some meat. He fed him, he drugged the meat and fed it to him, and then
Okay.
pretend to fight him. Yeah.
Okay. But no sharks were harmed in the making of this movie.
Nope. And they were still buddies afterwards. Um, and then what else have I watched? Oh yeah, I watched Night of the Living Dead
Hmm.
in color.
Oh,
It's
cool.
on Shutter, and you could tell it was digital colorized. And Alex was watching it with me, and he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna look up. That car is not this color. I forget what color they made it. They made it red or something." And he was like, "I'm pretty sure that's a blue car in real life when they filmed it." And he looked up. He was like, "It was blue. Why didn't they make it blue?" And I was like, "I don't think the people in like that were told to do this were probably paid a lot of money, and they weren't like, let's look up all the original stuff, like
Right.
from the Night of the Living Dead."
They were probably like, they told us to put color. We're just going to put whatever color we think is fine.
Yeah, it looks weird when you're not used to that movie
Hmm.
being in color. I definitely think the black and white is classic for that one,
Yeah.
and that is a classic, or that is like the first zombie movie, other than like the
I think it's
30s
the
and
first Hollywood type zombie. Um, I mean, they always say White Zombie is the first zombie movie. But that's Haitian zombies as opposed to Hollywood zombies. George Romero is like the father of the Hollywood, the brains, eating zombies or whatever. So yeah, I think it's a classic, and I think it probably would look better in black and white. But of course, that's what we're used to. So I think
Yeah,
that has a lot to do with it.
that was an experience. And what else? City of the Dead, I think, was the last one I watched, which is a Lucio Fulci one as well. And it's like the dead, it's like they won't, it's like they're dead, but they come back to life and they're just walking around. They didn't seem super zombie, like
Hmm.
brains and stuff. They were just like pulling people's hair and the back of their scalp would come out so the brains would come out and then like they disappear or something. It was very weird. It was Lucio Fulci to the max, and I was like, "This is a zombie movie, right?"
Right. Well, I'm gonna tell you about the one we watched last night. That's all I'm gonna say because that was bizarre. But I will share for people who did not come to that lovely watch party because I think we were supposed to have the zombie one by Fulce. That was
Oh,
one of the ones in the poll to vote for, and I think we only had one person vote for it, if I'm not mistaken. I'd have to go look back and look, but what we had win was so crazy. So let's see what other people are saying in the chat. Alicia saying, "How dare you coworkers interfere with the readathon? Shame." Yeah, don't they know that that's more important? Halko is reading Dread Nation and Monstrilio. Very good.
Dread Nation's a really good zombie book.
I have Dread Nation on my list because Halco had recommended it. So I'm hoping I just think it looks really great because it's like almost like a historical fiction, zombie fiction kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like an alternate history of the end of the Civil War where like all the dead start coming back.
Yeah, so you see, I think that would be cool, especially if it's done right and not cheesy. Amy is referring to our movie we watched last night, Hard Rock Zombies. Have you seen it, Katrina? Because I think if you would have, you would be saying. And Vanessa, oh my God, Amy, that movie was a trip. Oh, yeah, and a half. I'm starting Night of the Living Trekkies tomorrow. Yay, Amy. Did you like Chainsaw Man? Alicia's wanting to know.
Oh, I did. I love Chainsaw Man. I was so excited when I saw. I was like, yes, volume 3. And I was like, I didn't think I liked this series as much as I did because I got very excited about it.
Well, Amy's saying it was bonkers. She is correct. Hello,
Har-
Swamp Gas. How are you? Welcome. I love Joe Bob, referring to the Shutter. I guess he's the host. Hey, been hanging with the zombie vibes this week. Watched Exhumed, a history cultural studies documentary about zombies. Before I watched White Zombie. Very, very good. I'm gonna have to check that documentary out. Um, I hope you liked White Zombie. It's a classic, also. Hey, Kelsey. You guys know how Hard Rock Zombies ruled. Yeah, right. Let's just put it this way. I gave it half star. Best thing I watched all month. She would say that. She loves all that cheesy corn. Hey, Jasmine, how are you? Hey, Sally. What's the name of the shark zombie movie? It
this,
was,
oh, Zombie.
but isn't it also Zombie Flesh Eaters is another name for it?
I think so.
Okay,
Yeah.
Sally, that was the one that was in the poll to be voted for, but we ended up with Hard Rock Zombies instead. It was a blast to watch with you guys for sure. Oh, yes. Definitely made it better um, than if you would have had to watch it by yourself. It was definitely a blast to watch as a group, and she agrees with
Oh, it
Amy.
looks interesting.
It
I'll
is.
say that.
Okay, I will say a couple of things about it. Hey, Em, welcome, welcome, welcome. I started Night of the Living Trekkies. Yay! Everybody's starting. I can't wait to start. I may have to stop what I'm reading and start it because I don't know if I'll finish in time to do both of them. But before I tell you what I'm reading or whatever and sharing, we watched that Hard Rock Zombie last night, and can I tell you, I think we were in the movie for like 45, 50 minutes before a zombie even made it to the screen.
Oh no.
In fact, we had some people were like, "Isn't this supposed to be a zombie movie?" It was like it was almost like a slasher movie instead of a zombie movie. But it is so 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 bad. So if you want to watch a really 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 excellent bad movie, then that will be the one for you. But I did give it a half star because we had some performances by the zombies, and that was entertaining. So, but crazy, crazy.
I'm reading a review because on Shutter they do like reviews on the movies you can, and somebody put the dialogue is a glorious blue cheese.
Oh my gosh, yes, but the comedy of that movie was gold, Cat. Yeah, it was. I mean, it was fun to comment and to look at everybody's comments. There was at one point in one of the scenes, everyone at the same time were typing in what.
I'll have to make Alex watch it with me. That will be
Yeah, I think
fun.
it's pretty funny. Um, I have to. Can y'all hold on for 1 second? I think my son's locked out of the house.
Uh oh.
Yeah, let's see.
There was a werewolf grandma in a wheelchair, and it was never ever explained.
Sorry
Sometimes
about that.
oh, it's fine. I was just reading Kelsey's comment about the werewolf grandma, and I was like, sometimes it doesn't need to be explained. Why?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It was sort of like, okay, you've got this werewolf grandma in a wheelchair. At first, I thought, well, maybe she's a zombie. And because you really couldn't get a good look at her. But no, she was strictly there as a werewolf. And then you had people like with all their knives and stuff, like slashing people, and you're like, okay, so is this a werewolf film plus slasher? I almost expected, like, is the mummy going to come out at some point? You know, like what's going on? Or it was like there were four, I think, different plots going on all at one time, kind of in the same movie, though. And so you're like cutting to all these different weird scenes. I don't know. It was fun to watch, though. I will say that it was fun to watch. But very very bad. And Amy's saying you have to watch it. You'll appreciate the bizarreness. I think you would laugh a lot. I think you should let Alex say, Alex, we'll have a date night and we're going to watch this fantastic movie that was recommended by all my friends for Zombiethon.
That was kind of when we watched the night or the City of the Dead. It was kind of like our date night. Like we got Chinese food and stuff, and like watched it, and we were like, "What the heck is this?" Because there is a scene in that I was talking about on Kelsey's channel too on Saturday where they're just fly mealworms like at these actors' face for a good almost a minute, a full minute of mealworms just flying into this room, and it's like close ups on their face, and it's like stuck to their face and stuff, and that whole house, it's like all over the floor. I'm like, they had to get rid of that house if that was a real house. Like, there's no going back. You can't get all of that out. It was just like a full window blowing in of mealworms. I was like,
That's so gross.
no.
So Sally made her husband watch it. He didn't like it. He said, that is not a zombie movie. No, it was not really, technically. It really was not. I mean, really, about the only thing that was like getting kind of zombified, I guess it was the foreshadowing, was like this mosquito fly thing and then this spider. But otherwise, I'm like, so are the insects supposed to be what's the zombies in here? Just, it's like, how is that a hard rock zombie or whatever? I don't know. It was crazy. But I am reading Dreadfully Ever After by Stephen Hawkinsmith. And it's taken me a little longer than normal because it's in that literary writing, like Pride and Prejudice. So it follows that same type of writing. And so it is taking me longer to read it. And I think if I cannot get this finished by Friday, then I'm going to have to put it to the side, start Night of the Living Trekkies, and then go back to it before the end of the year, just because, I want to be able to be finished for us, because, as everybody knows, Night of the Living Trekkies is our group read. And talking about this, Kevin David Anderson, who is one of the authors of this book, is in our Discord. So he mentioned that if anybody has any questions, to let me know, and I will get them to him, and he can answer them before our live stream next Tuesday, because we were going to be talking about Night of the Living Zombies next Tuesday in our live chat. So I think that would be pretty cool. He unfortunately can't make it because he lives in California and will not be either home, or he might be traveling home from work. But he said he could answer some questions. Kelsey's laughing at you, Sally. But anyway, I think Night of the Living Trekkies is a fast read, just based on what other people have said that have finished it, but they're liking it and they think it's funny. So I'm hoping that I can get through that and then finish the other. The zombie
Hope-
band looked like a lame kiss. Yes, that's exactly what I said yesterday.
Hopefully,
Yes.
Night of the Living Trekkies isn't as cheesy as Hard Rock Zombies.
No, I don't think it is. I don't think it is. But I do. We had picked this one for Kelsey and I have a book club, and we this got voted the most votes. So we were going to be talking about that in our book club discussion right before the live. And already I have a couple of questions from one of the members for that. So I'm glad I can ask some questions, because it would be nice. I'm going to probably ask some writing questions of him, like his process for writing or something like that, just because I'm interested in that part of it. Just downloaded the audiobook of Dread Nation. Sounds like a fun mashup of history and sci-fi. And that's really cool. He offered to answer questions. I think so. I mean, he seems really nice. He's been posting a couple of things. He did mention that he's new to Discord and he's trying to figure it out. He made a comment that he's been aggravating his 17-year-old son with all kinds of questions about what to do in a Discord. So I think that's pretty funny. But one of the questions my friend Steph asked was like, what would he recommend be another place where he could write, where you could read more of his work if you enjoy it. But yeah, so all that information we can, get out to everybody if they really enjoyed enough that they want to pursue it, because he does have a YouTube channel. He's on Instagram. So I think that's pretty cool. Don't bash the book in the Discord. Just kidding. I think everyone will enjoy it. Andrew said it's really fun. Oh, awesome. I'm going to start it this weekend. Great. He also posted some cool stuff that fans have done, like getting tattoos. Yes, he did. Some fans got some tattoos. He also posted, because we have a little channel where you can post zombie memes and stuff. He posted some Star Trek uh, pictures, like artwork or whatever. And so whoever the character is for Star Trek, it's like what they would say with brains behind it. So those were pretty funny
Aw.
too.
Live
I'll come
long
up
and
with some
prosper, brains.
questions. Yeah, and Kelsey's supposed to be joining me for the live stream for that. Hopefully you still can do that, Kelsey. Help me moderate that. That would be fun. But let's see if there's anything else as far as I've mentioned the group read. Oh, we have one more final watch party on Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that is Army of the Dead. Kelly is co-hosting that. So if y'all want to join in for another movie, yes. So Kelsey will be there with me next week for the group read discussion. And then I want to mention there's the zombie apocalypse book tag that's going on out there. And Crystal at Fiber Artsy, as well as Linda, Linda, the gamer gal, they both did one and they are both out there. So I put links in the description box for this video, but I also put them in Discord, and then you can just go look them up, on YouTube. Both of them have fantastic channels, and they're both funny. I mean, just the expressions, because the whole point of it is you're picking like the zombie team for yourself, and you're using literary characters out of books. So that's what's so fun about it is and I guess it just depends on what books you pick. If you're picking books, randomly, that's going to be a little bit different than if you're picking books with your like favorite characters or, your top five. So however you want to do it. I mean, it's I think they're funny, but it's a great
It
way to celebrate Zombiethon, I think.
it looks like a fun tag.
Yeah, love Crystal Zombie Tag. It was fun. Yeah, it's just also to everybody's facial expressions and their thoughts on who they get, because you don't know who you're going to get. It's not like you can mark. I mean, I guess you could, but what would be the fun of that? But when you randomly find out who it is, I mean, knowing since I did the tag, I'm like, I hope it's not somebody I really like, because I would hate for them to be the zombie, kind of thing. But or the person that you trip, because it's like if you trip them, they could potentially die, and that's going to be on you. Now, if it's somebody you don't like, well, trip away.
Yeah, exactly.
And you have to just be fast enough to get back on your feet, kind of thing. But something I noticed, I wanted to ask you, why do you like zombies, Katrina? Like, what is the draw for you?
I guess working retail for thousands of years, I kind of noticed a correlation between zombies and live people. Like, people are just like so focused on, I guess, shopping and stuff, and they're just oblivious to everything else around them, which is, I guess, it's Dawn of the Dead esque, the mall
Mm-hmm.
one, where all the zombies go to the mall because that's like what they did in real life when they were humans. So I guess that's my big draw, or why I like zombie stuff so much too, and also like that just that apocalyptic like feel to it too. Like
Mm-hmm.
this is the end, or we're going through something like intense. Like Alex and I definitely have a zombie apocalypse plan. Um, we have a meeting spot and everything here.
Oh,
So,
that's awesome.
yeah,
No, I think it's awesome. I mean, we talk about it all the time, like, literally what we would need, where we would go, how we would pack, that kind of stuff. Because it's like you need to, I mean, it could happen. I mean, you could have an apocalypse of any kind. The zombies are just another factor or obstacle. But I mean, really and truly, I think honestly, it's the humans in the zombie apocalypse that are scarier than the zombies. Because I do think unless you're lax or you get caught by surprise somehow by the zombies, or unless they're like World War Z zombies, where you don't have a chance to outrun them, um, I think you can pretty much, you know,
yeah,
survive if you use your smarts, kind of thing. But the humans, I mean, they can think and they're manipulative, and some of them, are just not nice people, in
yeah.
general. So
Like
you wouldn't.
in The Last of Us, like most recently, I feel like in television with like zombies and stuff, it's like the towards the end of that, you meet like a very crazy. Of course, he's a preacher. You always have to have the preacher, and you meet him, and you're like, okay, he's not so bad. And then you're like, as the episode goes on, you're like, oh no, and then it's just
Mhm.
horrific, and you're like, that is great television.
Yeah.
Like it's still great television.
Well, it's true because I mean, if you think about everything, like in The Walking Dead, like some of the people that they've encountered have been horrible people. But then somebody brought the whole idea to me. Well, we think they're horrible because we like our group. So to other people in those other groups, our group might, like the Rick Grimes group might look like the horrible people, but I don't know. It could be
Yeah.
a very scary place, and I don't necessarily think it's just the zombies that are scary.
Yeah,
The
and it's also
people.
like how will the government react? Because that's like a
Yes.
big thing in The Last of Us too. Is like what the government kind of turned into, because there's like a
Hmm.
time jump in that, and their response at the beginning, and like it felt like really real, like the military industrial complex like we live in. It's like they would respond, and they can. That's scary, like
Yeah.
because you don't know how they're going to react to you or like what's going to happen to you. Um, yeah. Uh, Walking Dead, I stopped watching after Terminus
Oh, yeah.
season, and then I like became a vegetarian. I was just like, I was like so like traumatized. I was like, and I think it was, yeah, I was just like a bunch of stuff just happened all at once, and I was like, I think I'm just not gonna eat meat for a while after
Well, I
that
mean,
season.
it's crazy to think about that, but Walking Dead's not the only post-apocalyptic movie or whatever story that has not come up. I mean, it happens in other books too that are not necessarily zombie. And it's like, I mean, technically we are animals, and if a
Yeah.
person's desperate enough, I guess, and you look juicy enough,
Yeah, but they were like the
you might become
propaganda and
somebody's
stuff too.
meal.
They were like, come to Terminus, like
Well,
freedom, and
yeah,
like it's a
because they were luring them.
commune.
Because you
Yeah.
see, that's exactly what I'm talking about with the humans being manipulative and calculating and all that kind of stuff. Kelsey loves that your 1,000 years. Best answer ever. Amy loves that answer too. Best to be prepared. Yeah, I think the main thing with a zombie apocalypse is there's a lot of emotion related to it, because if your loved ones are being turned into zombies, it's harder for you to react in a way. Like, a lot of people become zombies because they don't react the way they need to react. They're reacting to their family member as a zombie as if they were still their family member, and so I think that's why it spread so fast, is because if you're in the room having coffee or tea with your mom, you're not going to necessarily want to stab her in the head if she
Yeah.
becomes a zombie. So what is the alternative? You're going to be eaten and turned into a zombie too, you know Hi, Storm, how are you? Welcome here. You are on time. Being here at all is on time. You're not wrong, Kat. The non-humans may be more scary. I think so. I mean, it's always fascinating to me to see also two people who are not powerful in their everyday life use it to their advantage to become powerful or power hungry. And you find out they were really like a banker or a librarian or something, where they didn't have, they were very quiet and, didn't really rock the boat in their job or whatever. And then the zombie apocalypse comes, and then it's like, my rage has come out and I'm going to be in charge. So I take my camping stuff and go somewhere remote. Yeah, just be careful of the humans. Kelsey said, I would totally not survive. That is not good. Me neither, Kelsey. Oh, don't say that, Em. Yeah, I would last one day. Oh, Lauren, I think y'all would survive. Storm says, I'm too fat to outrun a zombie, so I would die. Oh, don't say that. No.
No.
All you have to do is outwit them. It depends on the zombies. If you have zombies, I'm telling you, if you encounter zombies like Night of the Living Dead, you literally could walk at 1 mile per hour and still outrun them. You could be in like 4 or 5 blocks away and they would just be getting out of the cemetery. Literally, that is how
They like
slow
to
they
throw
are. I
rocks
don't know
though.
how anyone actually dies in Night of the Living Dead because they are so slow. But
Right.
if you have World War Z zombies, I don't know how anybody could survive because they're so fast and they can climb and they can jump and they can think and they crawl all over each other to cause a ladder. I mean, I
Yep.
don't even see how you could survive. So
They're
I guess it's if we have a
People do
zombie apocalypse,
survive though.
huh? What?
People do survive in
They
World War
do
Z
survive, but
in
it's
the book.
like, well, yeah, and also in the movie, and there's a reason why they survive, but I don't know. It all is going to depend on what you get. The wall scene to World War Z gives me anxiety every time. Yeah, because it's like, at what point? Like, how are you going to survive that? I don't think you can. And there's just too many of them. The humans may be more scary than the zombies. Yeah, Alicia, I agree for sure. So, any favorite zombie books? Do you have any favorite zombie books?
I guess this is like a newer book, Manhunt by Gretchen Flecker. Is it Gretchen Flecker? There's another name in it, but about like there was it's affecting men, uh,
Ah,
like testosterone, and it follows trans women who need testosterone
oh,
and or
wow.
estrogen. They need estrogen, and it's like there's no estrogen, and it's well where estrogen is in men is in their privates.
Oh,
So they have to, yeah, so they have to eat that part
instead
or
of
like
brains.
extract it. It's also in their brains too.
Oh,
I believe. I
oh.
think it's the brains and down there, and I didn't even know that. And I looked at it, I was like, is that real? And I looked it up, and I was like, that is real.
Oh my
But
God.
it's very gruesome, and like again, in that it's like, yeah, the zombie situation isn't the big bad, in that it's like the other humans are like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
big bad in it.
Storm says we just have to be faster than the person running with us. That's true. Or you could always trip. Me too. That would be terrible. I'd be eaten by the cannibals.
Yeah,
No.
I'd be all tricked. I'd be like, "Oh, we're gonna do yoga every day. I'm here," and then they're like, "No, we're gonna eat you." And I'd be like, "Really? You sure?"
Well, Lauren is just finding out that Manhunt had zombies, but that she didn't know Manhunt had zombies, but that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a good one. What about favorite movies? Do you have any that you really like a lot, or any that stand out for you that you could watch over and
I
over?
I like Shaun of the Dead a lot.
That's my number one.
Yeah, Shaun of the Dead is hilarious.
I think it
It's
is so hilarious.
so good, and that's another thing too. I feel like that really captured. It's like the satire of just
Yes.
living life. It's like
Hmm.
you're living life as a zombie. You're going to work and you're oblivious to everything else around you. What's going on? Just a normal day. You want to go to work. You want to go hang out with your friend. You want to go to the bar.
Right.
Like that's pretty much it, and that's
Well,
so
really and
funny.
truly, the opening of the movie when they're doing the credits and everything, and you're watching like the girl checking out, in the grocery store, you're watching what they're doing. That's all like hinting to that, I think.
Yeah, like everybody's already checked. Everybody's already a zombie because in the society we have to live in,
Right,
everybody is.
exactly. What about TV shows? Is Last of Us at the top for you?
I think Last of Us is at the top, probably because I watched it pretty recently. Like
Mm,
when it was finished airing, I binged it and I loved it. I didn't think I was going to like it as much as I did because Alex played the game and he really liked it too. But
mm.
here I was like, I'm not gonna like it. It's a video game show. Like I like Silent Hill, that's all right. But I was like so into it. I was like hooked, and I was like crying. It was like a mess. So
Well,
great.
I haven't seen it yet, but my oldest son Barry just got HBO Max or whatever, so I know it's on that. I'm gonna have to check it out and see how I like it because I heard that it does have a fungus that is what causes them to turn into zombies, similar to the girl with all the gifts. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I love that show. All of Us Are Dead with the Korean show. It's a very fast paced, and I just love the relationships and the fact that it's teenagers and what they have to go through. And the zombies in there are very unique as well. Some of them are your typical, just mulling around, but they're also fast. But there's something that happens to some of these zombies, and it's really interesting how they, their evolution or whatever. But yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I mean, because you see the dynamics of the teenagers prior to the apocalypse thing happening, and then what they have to deal with after the fact. And of course, a majority of it takes place at a high school. So
I'll have to
the
check that out.
setting, that setting is very, I mean, everybody's scattered. Just think about, like the kids are at school, parents are wherever they have to be, so there were points where I cried, because it's just like I cannot imagine being in that situation, or like having my children in that situation and me not being able to do anything about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really loved it. In fact, I hope that they do a second season, because it's just not fair to not have a second season and leave you wanting to know what happens to your characters, because it's character driven, in my opinion. A lot of these shows, and that you like The Walking Dead and like Last of Us, it's the characters. You get to
Hmm.
where you care about them enough that you want them to survive, kind of thing. I don't know. It makes me heartbroken. I mean, I do love the Walking Dead universe. I can't lie, but All of Us is Dead. All of Us Are Dead is really good. As long as you don't mind subtitles, you know, which don't bother me. What are your guys' favorite zombie origin stories? Pandemic, fungus. Oh, yeah, that's interesting. What about you, Katrina? Can you answer that?
I like 28 Days Later. I'm wearing the shirt. I don't want to flash everybody, but it's just it's the chimpanzee and the guy on the bottom. But I like that one. I like it was just like they were testing it. Like it was man made and it got released because animal rights people released this animal. But yeah, I like that one, and I like the way they look too. Like their eyes turn red, and
Mhm.
it's like they're on like a drug, but it's like a virus,
Yeah, it's the rage virus.
the rage
They were
virus.
infected with the rage virus, which is not good, especially if you're already enraged as it is, just in general.
Yeah,
I would say, I don't know. I mean, I kind of like just it being more of a natural kind of viral, like
yeah,
evolution of some kind, where somehow something has evolved. And I think that's what makes The Walking Dead interesting, is that you have the virus, like you have those cells, um and somehow something mutated in our world, whether it's the food we're eating, or the air we're breathing, or the water we're drinking. Somehow you have that in you. So it's kind of crazy to think. I don't think that, unless they could come up with an actual cure for that, it's always going to be there, unless somehow it mutates a different way. Now, I will say, after reading The Girl with All the Gifts, the way the fungus works is pretty fascinating, I think, as well. I don't know how it works in The Last of Us. And I don't want to say, because that's the big kind of reveal in it. But it's really interesting that something like that, and they got the idea, I believe, from those zombie ants, the fungus that gets into the ants.
the
And
cordyceps.
yeah,
Yeah, that like
so
goes in and shoots up their brain or whatever.
yeah, and it makes them do the work to be
Hmm.
able to spread whatever it is. I mean, so I think that's kind of interesting too. But I think probably my favorite is going to be something that's like a virus of some kind that naturally mutates and gets into them. I don't know. I don't want to think about like man made viruses. That would be very scary. I think they're doing a second season. Yay, I hope so. Yeah, it's a unique origin. Yeah, the All of Us Are Dead is really good, but it's very scary and very sad, I think. And it's because of the human element to it, for sure. So I was also noticing, and I guess I noticed it because of The Girl with All the Gifts, is that there are several ways that zombies are referred to in literature, in these TV shows and movies. And in The Girl with All the Gifts, they're called hungries. And so that's how they refer to zombies, as hungries. In Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, what's funny about this is they refer to them as unmentionables, I guess, because you're talking about like high society people. And they also refer to them as Zeds, capital Zed. The Zeds are the people that, well, not the people, the zombies that they try to use for labor, like literally try to use them maybe for labor. And there's a
That
part
sounds
I even
right.
marked it. Yes, it says they're having a conversation, and he says, "I understand your father is an industrialist of some kind. Has he experimented with Zed labor as have others in the North?" And she responds, "No, though he sees potential profit in it, of course. What factory owner wants workers who insist on sleeping and eating and who complain when ground up in the gears? Because they can't think, they're going to fall into the machinery and get all, wound up in it." And then also, too, they attend, instead of horse races, they attend zombie races, and they put a live person as bait, and they let the zombies go like they are the horses, but they're going after the man. And literally, they have somebody at the end that kind of like saves the guy and pulls him up or whatever. But people are betting on them. Just like, that is so bizarre to me. But just a different take on, so unmentionables and Zeds, working zombies as opposed to just your normal zombie. And then Walking Dead, they're called the walkers.
Yeah.
And then in Dead City, the middle grade book that I read, they're referred to as zombies. But if you're talking to a zombie, because the zombies here, it depends on what level you are. If you're like a level 2 zombie, you still can go to work and function. You just have to stay within Manhattan so that you're close to whatever the energy source is. But so when you communicate with one of them, it's kind of rude for you to call them a zombie. So they're referred to as like the undead or the non-living, or whatever. So I thought that was pretty interesting too. Any names and anything that you've encountered other than zombies or the ones I've mentioned?
In Dread Nation, I think they're called Shamblers.
Ah,
And in World War Z, they were called Ghouls, like in Night of the Living Dead.
yeah.
Um, I'm trying to think. They call. What
Yeah,
do they
even in that movie last night, the Hard Rock Zombies, they were mentioned as being ghouls.
Ghoul. I hear ghouls a lot, like in
Mhm.
the Fulci movies too. Fulci movies, they call them ghouls. I'm trying to remember what they call them in The Last of Us. There's different types in The Last of Us because there's
Ah,
some that, um, like there's some that you just they're full mushroom head and they're called something. I forget the name of it though, but they have different names for the different types too. That
right. Oh, they're called
clickers,
clickers.
yes,
Clickers.
because they have
Yeah.
to like, I guess they use like what bats do, like the
Like,
sonar
the
thing, the
echolocation.
echolocation.
Echolocation. Oh, that's fascinating, I think. Yeah, so anybody else have ever heard of different names for them? I find all that fascinating how they refer to it. And I guess it makes sense depending on um what they observe when the zombie apocalypse first starts, or what their knowledge is, where they're located in the world. Also, I guess makes sense, or and also to the mannerisms, because if they're calling them clickers, it's something that they're doing, an attribute, you know, to have them do that. The walkers and the Walking Dead, because that's all they're doing is kind of walking around,
Yeah.
and then they decide they want to get you and eat you. But I don't know. I find all that pretty interesting. The really far gone zombies in warm bodies are called bonies.
Oh yeah. Because they're not really. There's nothing left. Right. They're just bones.
Yeah, I tried to look up in the enemy to see what they called their zombies, because their zombies are like very cannibalistic. and it's the adults. I believe that once you turn like 16 or 17, something like that, that's when you something, I guess, in your DNA causes you to end up becoming a zombie. But I couldn't find anything. I was like kind of scanning just to look because I haven't read that since last May. And I couldn't find it in anything. It's just like voracious cannibalistic zombies like creatures, so but they're mainly adults. So you got all these poor kids out there trying to survive a zombie apocalypse. And there are some adults out there that are immune, and those are the scary ones too. you know, uh, but I don't know. I like it. I think it's all very fascinating. So, do you have anything to add, Katrina, before we decide to pick our winners of the Zombie
Um,
Survival Guide?
just that every year, the Saturday before Halloween here in Richmond, in my like where I live, kind of, they do a zombie walk throughout like the whole like area. It's like a Carytown area, and people like dress up as different zombies. So one year I went, I was dressed as Star Trek, but I didn't do my zombie makeup. But I was like in my classic Star Trek dress. But
Oh, that's
there's
fun.
like they do different stuff every year, and the people that you should look up the website because they have all the pictures of like it's just they do like clown zombies, they do ambulance driver zombies. There was like what is it from it with his like arm missing zombie, like
Oh,
it was like
Georgie.
they had a little kid dressed as Georgie, what like the last time I
Aw.
went, and I was like dying laughing. It's so fun, and like they dress up the baby, there'll be a whole family of zombies. And I was like, oh, Kat has to know about this. It's so fun.
Sounds fun. Is it like a pub crawl where they like block off and y'all, or is it just like a
There is
walk?
a couple Halloween pub crawls, but it's just like a walk. And there's like a guy, he's dressed as a Shriner every year, a zombie Shriner, and he goes, birds. Like, and he has the megaphone. It's so great. It's so much fun.
Amy says it sounds fun. So does Kelsey. And they have that here. Wait, they do that here too in October. Yeah, actually, in October in New Orleans, there's a race, and you can get your zombie makeup done there if you'd like to. My husband and I were going to go. It was the same night. It was the same morning as when the Psychedelic Furs were playing that evening, but it was still during the time, like, how COVID restrictions kind of lessened a little bit. So we had bought our tickets for an October show in June. Well, by August, the mayor had put all these restrictions again, and you had to wear a mask, and you had to have your vaccination cards and all that stuff. Well, I happened to be in a play, and I was worried about being exposed to too many people, like for that, and then also going to my concert. So we didn't end up going. And we were bummed out because we were looking forward to go, because we weren't going to run, but we would have just gone to walk it. And then there's a bar, I think it's called Lucy's Surf Bar or something like that. And we're going to have a party afterwards. So it would have been fun, but stupid COVID had to mess it up. I hate stupid COVID. They do a race, but you are the survivors. You have 3 or 4 flags. You make it to the end of the race with 1 flag, you win a medal. Yeah, we had a race like that years ago. And I keep saying I'm going to show my scrapbook pages of it. Instead of flags, though, ours had balloons. You had little balloons on your belt, and they had to try to pop them or whatever. And who had balloons at the end, lives. I guess that was like your lives.
Oh, fun.
The zombie walk happens here too. Yeah, so there's a lot of different ones. That's really fun. I think that's fun. Okay, so I have created a picker wheel. Basically, I had asked people to leave a comment in my last video, the video for, like announcing that Zombiethon had started, of what book they were most excited for to read during Zombiethon. And so I went back and looked at the comments, and we have 14 people. So I'm going to attempt to do the pickle wheel online. And here we are. So I'm going to spin. Oh, what happened? Tell me what happened. I forgot to share the screen. God. Too fond of books. Yay, Sally,
Yay,
you won one
Sally.
of the survival guides. Okay, so let me take Sally out. Sorry y'all didn't see the whole thing because I didn't share right away. Okay, we're going to try it again. Woo, Vanessa! Woohoo! Book obsession. So each of you will get a zombie survival guide. I will need to get with you somehow. Either email me at catloyacano@gmail.com, or you can, I believe both of you follow me on Instagram. Y'all can send me a DM with your addresses so that I can send your book to you. I'm so excited. See what everybody's congratulating Sally. Woohoo! Woohoo!
Yes, very proud.
Woohoo! Woo! Yes, you will be prepped for the apocalypse. Yep. Yay! Congrats. Yay! I'm glad you're excited. I just want to let you know that they tell you there are 10 lessons for surviving your zombie attack. And they are to organize before they rise. They feel no fear. Why should you? Use your head, cut off theirs. Blades don't need reloading. Ideal protection, tight clothes, short hair. Because remember, they can grab your hair if you got long hair. Get up the staircase, then destroy it. Get out of the car, get onto the bike. You know, cars make noise. Keep moving, keep low, keep quiet, keep alert. No place is safe, only safer. And the zombie may be gone, but the threat lives on. So this will help you be able to, you know, survive in case something happens and you have to deal with the zombies. And I also think they might even include how you can deal with some of those humans as well. I want to thank everybody for being here tonight, and thank our guest, Katrina, for joining me. I really do appreciate
Thanks
it.
for
I
having me.
appreciate all of you being here. Y'all really do give me a happiness boost. And just joining in all this zombie fun. I love zombies, and I'm glad that there are so many people out there that share my appreciation for the undead, and all that goes with it. So, everyone, have a fantastic evening. And remember, if you're reading Night of the Living Trekkies, we are having our group discussion next Tuesday, 8 o'clock live. Oh, and I am having Sprint Saturday. So, be on the lookout for that if you're looking for Sprint Saturday morning. And Linda saying, enjoy the books. Bye, everyone. Bye, Linda. Thank you, Amy, for being here. Bye. Good night.
Bye.
And good night, Helco. See y'all soon. Oh, stay amazing, be adventurous, and watch out for those zombies.